There. Let's get back into it. So yesterday we set up a new project. We fixed some of the issues with the build files it wasn't building because of the Minecraft version range and the Minecraft version. They were just blacked out there. And we were able to get the build up and running, which is a big step. So let's continue today. We're just going to watch the second video and slowly go through these tutorials to learn. Let's go.
121 Minecraft modding course is available down below, with over 11 hours of content covering everything from the basics all the way to block entities and custom mobs. Alright, we found ourselves back in tutorial once more, and in this tutorial we'll be adding custom items to our project over here with Forge, obviously for 121. Absolutely freaking awesome. And this is going to be, well, as you can see by the length, still a quite involved process, but once again, it is sort of one of those things where once you go through it once and you understood it, it's going to be very, very straightforward. Now for this, we'll need in the tutorial mod package, right click new package, and this is going to be called item. So this is where all of our item related classes are going to go. And the first one is right click new Java class called the mod items class over here in the
Let's get that, and then he calls it mod items. Let's go.
this case. If this file dialog appears over here, add file to Git, we'll simply hit add right here, and you can see it then turns from a red class to a green class. That
so we don't have the
that
version
before it wasn't added to the next commit for in terms of GitHub, but now it is. Now, how is this class situated? How does it look like? It's going to be quite interesting. First of all, we will have a public static final, and this is going to be a deferred register. So you can see it's called deferred register over here, and I can select this and hit the tab key to autocomplete it, which will immediately import that particular class. We then need angle brackets because we need to tell it, okay, what type of register is this? Like, what are we actually registering? Well, in this case, registering items. So we put in the item class over here from net Minecraft World item. We're going to hit tab to autocomplete again, and then we'll call this items over here all caps basically, and that's going to be equal to a deferred register.create. You can see it suggests this to us, so what we can simply do is select it and press tab to autocomplete this as well. Inside of the parentheses, we want to say forge registries dot items here. Once again, we can simply hit tab to autocomplete this, and it's going to import the forge registries class. And then lastly, after a comma over here, tutorial mod.mod ID, and once again, tab to autocomplete it, and then ending all of it with a semicolon. Now, as always, all of the code is available down below. And the first question is, what the frick is even this? As a highest level overview, I of course somehow need to tell Minecraft, hey, these are our items. Make sure that they are registered, right? So that they're actually in the game. And that works with a deferred register. Now, a deferred register can be of many different types. It can do items, blocks, we can do creative mode tabs. There's all sorts of different things that we can basically register, obviously, right? All of those things we can, add via a mod to Minecraft. And for all of those, there exists deferred registers. And a deferred register, as the highest level overview, is a list that is basically given to Minecraft at the specific time that is needed basically. That is why it's a deferred register. Once again, highest level overview. There's way more below the hood. You can also hover over this and actually see a couple of examples and a little bit of control left click on this, and you can actually see certain comments over here that might be interesting and useful if you want to deepen your knowledge on this. But in this case, right now, the only thing you really need to know is, hey, this is going to be a list of our items, right, that are going to be under our mod ID, and they are basically going to be registered at the right time. That's all we need to do. And that's all we need to know at this point. When you have a deferred register,
I think there is pretty good documentation from Forge as well. Let me just scroll over 1 second. Let's take a look. So under docs, we can actually read through some of the documentation here. Let's take a look at maybe core concepts registries. I think it is. So most of what he's described there, you can get more information under Forge docs and under registries, and it will actually mention the deferred register here. Deferred register is the recommended way to register objects. It allows the use and convenience of static initializers while avoiding the issues associated with it. It simply maintains a list of suppliers for entities and registers the objects from those suppliers during register event. An example of a mod registering, yes. And there's the register event as well here, which I guess we will learn about later. Very, very useful docs.
We actually also need to register that way. Basically, we need to be able to tell Forge, hey, this is our deferred register for our mod ID. And for that, we're going to make a public static void register method. And that is going to have an iEvent bus as its parameter. Once again, tap to autocomplete it. And then the parameter name is just event bus. And inside of the method, very straightforward, we are going to call the items deferred register register method passing in the event bus. So this is literally just me, once again, hitting tab to autocomplete it. And there you go. That is the basic setup of the mod items class. And then this register method has to be called in the tutorial mod constructor. So below the Minecraft Forge event bus right here, what we'll do is we'll simply say mod items dot register, and then once again that was the tab to autocomplete it, and then mod event bus, you can see tab to autocomplete it, and we're basically taking this event bus right here and just.
All right, let's add that Minecraft Forge. No, yeah, Minecraft mod items. Mod items dot register. Mod event bus, and we will import that. And the one thing that I'm getting used to still is the semicolons. I haven't programmed in Java in quite a while. I've been doing a lot of Kotlin lately for Android development, and it actually doesn't require the semicolons. So let's just add some comments as well. Register custom items from the mod items class. I wonder if I can do square brackets. No, square brackets, and it'll pick this up. No, it doesn't. So Kotlin is a little bit more interesting
passing
that way.
It into the register method. Awesome. And now the game, or rather Forge, knows about our, quote unquote list over here. And now we're actually registering an item there. It's going to be very straightforward. This is going to be a public static final. Basically, almost all of the time, all of your things that you're registering are going to be public static and final. That's just a convention in this case. And this is going to be a registry object here from NetMicro Forge registries. Again,
So just for those people that are unfamiliar with Java, some of the base concepts. Public refers to the scope of the function or the class, meaning where you can access it from. In general, it is good practice to make things private as much as possible, just so that you don't have access from places that shouldn't have access. But yeah, public is perfectly fine. So let's add that in. Registry object.
Again, tab to autocomplete it, and this is also of a particular type, so angled brackets, and in those we're going to say item because, well, this is a registry object of type item. The name here is going to be Alexandrite equal to items.register, so this is going to be the items deferred register.register, and then we're going to pass in a name. You can see we need a string name parameter and then a supplier of an item. So the first thing is a string, that's going to be Alexandrite, and then after the quotation marks, comma, and then we're going to make a supplier, that's going to be an open and closing parentheses, and then a dash, and then a smaller than, that's going to turn this little thing into an arrow that is a supplier, and what we want to supply is a new item, right? And this new item needs new item.properties, and once again, I can hit tab to autocomplete this and end this all with a semicolon. And in theory, this is everything we're going to need. Now the item would be in the game. It wouldn't have a name yet, like a proper name. It would be a square with black and pink colors, so there wouldn't be really a lot of things in the game yet. It wouldn't even be in any of the different creative mode tabs. So in this case,
so he's making an item called Alexandrite. Now I already have an idea of kind of where I want to go with the modding. Me and my friends, we have a server up and running, and we kind of have been throwing ideas around. So one of the things that I think I want to make is a flag, which will not be exactly a full block, but it should still be an item. So let's make like a city flag, for example. Then go items. Should we put some music on? Let's put some music on. Synthwave. Turn that down. Alright. Items.register. Items.register. Name. City flag. I wonder what kind of syntax it requires. Will register actually provide it? Decomp, yeah, okay, I accept. Register, deferred register. It doesn't know which one I'm using yet. Okay, let's just do a blank name here, and then properties. So I'm assuming that we are actually going to create some of the properties later on, and in here we will pass them in instead of new item.properties, which is like blank. Oh, it has some stuff. Stacks 2, default durability, graph remainder rarity. Interesting, okay. So we have some defaults here when we're creating properties. Cool. And we wanted to take a look at this to see what kind of name it has to have. Right, name requires not null, duplicate registration, and it requires to be unique. But as far as I can tell, it can be anything.
This is a bare bones item. Let's first of all think about this. So when we have this, let's add it to an already existing creative mode tab. The way to do this, very straightforwardly, in our tutorial mode class, we have this add creative method right here. So what we can simply do is we can say if event.getTabKey is equal, and that's going to be two equals. Basically, we're comparing over here. This is the comparison operator. If this is equal to the creative mode tabs dot ingredients, exactly, just tab to auto-complete it again. If this is the case, then I'm going to say event dot accept, and we will accept mod items dot alexandrite, and there you go. So basically, this is going to now add our custom alexandrite item to the ingredients tab. Pretty freaking awesome. But what about the name, and what about the freaking awesome? But what our custom alexandrite item?
Mod items dot city flag. All right.
To the ingredients tab. Pretty freaking awesome. But what about the name, and what about the texture? Well, that happens in the assets folder, and for that we're gonna need to go to the resources. So in the project window on the left side, we're gonna go to the resources, and we're gonna right click new directory called assets. what I basically am going to do is I'm going to create this structure. It is extremely important that this structure is exactly right. If there are any typos in there, you're going to run into many issues, meaning you might not have a proper texture, you might not have a name. So keep this in mind. This structure has to be exactly right. So resources, assets. Inside of the assets folder, we're going to make the tutorial mod folder, or whatever your mod ID is. So this has to match your mod ID exactly. So this mod ID right here has to be the name of this folder. Inside of your folder named with as your mod ID, you're gonna have 3 folders. The first one is the lang folder, or LANG. Once again, tutorial mod, we're gonna right click new directory called models. Models with an S at the end. And then tutorial mod folder once again, right?
I want to appearance compact metal packages. He's got lang, he's got models, and
click new directory. I'm going to call this textures. Once again, make sure that this is written correctly. Textures with an S, so plural. Inside of the models folder, we'll then make a new directory called item, and the same thing happens in the textures folder. Right click new directory called item. So we're going to start at the lang folder. That is the folder that determines the languages as LANG, right? Lang should be sort of, it makes sense, right? And in this case, we will simply add a translation for the default language, which is en_us. So in the lang folder, we're going to right click new file called en_us.json. Very important. Once again, this is written exactly like this, en_us.json. Once you have this, you can go into this file and we will see the structure is as follows. We're going to have a curly.
Where can we find other languages? We'll find it here. Items, production, or maybe other resources. Assets, models. Resource packs are stored within your project's resources. The assets directory contains the contents of the pack, while the pack itself is defined by the pack MC meta alongside assets folder. Your mod can have multiple asset domains, since you can add or modify already existing resource packs like vanilla, forges, or another mods. You can then follow steps Minecraft Wiki to create any resource pack. Okay. Contents language, JSON files, different languages, namespace lang, and name language code JSON. Yes, okay, we need the language code. Language file consists of an object containing ID and translation pairs. The ID uniquely identifies any translatable text in the game, and translation is displayed as the text when the language is selected. Okay. And then it goes on to not tell us any of the language codes. Okay, perfect. So this is under Minecraft Wiki W language. Let's add the other language, which is Russian. You can have Three revolutionary Russians from the Russian Empire. That's fantastic. So are you? Seems like it's the code. Are you? Alright, in game, and then the ISO name. Okay. Let's add. Okay.
Bracket, the closing curly bracket will generate automatically. So I'm going to have a string. This is the translation key. In this case, it's going to be item.tutorialmod. And this is going to be Alexandrite. And then after the closing quotation mark, a colon.
I should have named my mod something else. City flag. Right? What did we call it? I think it's the string name. I think it's a string name because this is just the name for the code. Okay. Okay, let's do then. Let's do that. Okay. And this is the.
And then another string, and that's going to be
name.
Alexandrite. Now, extremely important here. Where does this key come from? Well, let's think about this. We have an item, right, that we're registering under tutorial mod, and the name that we've given it right here is Alexandrite. That's literally the key. That's all we need to know for the key, and then we can translate it to a human readable name, which, as you can see, actually does include a uppercase character, right? The Alexandrite right here follows the same laws that the tutorial mod follows, basically no spaces and only lowercase characters, but that is why you have the translation, because now this name over here is going to be what is actually displayed. So let's say if I call this Alexandrite gem over here, right, with a space, that is no issue whatsoever. That is going to be totally fine. And with this translation done, the next thing is the item model JSON file. So in tutorial mod models item, we're going to right click new file, and this is going to be the Alexandrite.json. Very important that this is written correctly, Alexandrite.json. And this is going to be quite interesting. I'm going to type this out. This is, of course, going to be available to you down below as well. And then I will explain once I've typed this out. So we're going to have a parent. The parent is going to be Minecraft:item/generated. Then we're going to have a textures object. This object is going to be, or we're going to have a layer 0. And that layer 0 is going to be tutorial mod:item/Alexandrite. Awesome.
All right, so this is just like the key values for the item. Minecraft item generated. Textures. Not what I want. I wonder how many layers there can be.
So, what is this craziness? Well, the basic idea is as follows. This determines how the item is going to be displayed as a model, basically, right? So the model, the parent over here, is going to be item generated. What is this? Well, usually when you have normal items like a redstone or maybe a diamond or emerald, then the actual item inside of your hand is not really 2D. Even though it's only a 2D texture, it's actually extruded a little bit into the third dimension. And that is what the parent right here does. That's what this parent does, the item generated. And then we define the texture, and we define the texture as follows. This is in the tutorial mod namespace. So assets tutorial mod in the textures folder inside of the item folder. And then it's going to look for an Alexandrite.png right here. And of course, well, we have that available as well. There we go. We got Alexandrite in the raw Alexandrite. So I'm, spoiling a little bit, but basically we can simply drag those into the folder, and I'm going to hold Control to copy them into there. I'm going to hit OK, and then you can see, there we go. We got both of those PNGs in here.
So he's got two states to it. It seems like there's just the regular Alexandrite and then the raw Alexandrite. Okay. So we're gonna have to create this PNG.
So the Alexandrite.png is exactly what it's basically looking for. And now with this, if you can imagine, that is all of the steps to actually add the custom item.
And how does it pick up the raw Alexandrite when we never declared it?
Now it might look like it is a lot, but we'll see in just a second how to add a second item, because once everything like this is set up, a second item is exponentially easier. But yes, you will basically always need to register it like this, right? So these two lines over here are registering the item, then adding it to the creative mode tab right here, adding a translation, and then the item order JSON file, which points to your particular texture. But once all of those steps are through, what we can then do is simply over here at the top right corner, we can simply hit the run client over here and then jump into the game and see our item for the first time. All right, finds us back in Minecraft, and let's go to the ingredients tab at the very bottom, and we can see there we freaking go. The Alexandrite gem has been added to the game. Absolutely freaking fantastic.
Right,
and yeah, that is one item, but one is none. So let's take a look
PNG.
at adding a second item too. Right, like I said, you will be a
Let's wait. Let's find a PNG. Also, are there some like sizing formats, textures? All right, so there is actually some guidelines. Textures are image files in PNG format, which provide images to be used as textures for models such as items, blocks, and mobs. For block or item textures to function, they must have equal width and height. Okay, or height that is a multiple of the width. Or height that is a multiple of the width if animated. Otherwise, it appears as magenta and black checkerboard. For most other textures, the file is stretched to fit the required dimensions. Most solid blocks turn any transparent area fully opaque. Some other blocks, which have cutout transparency like grass, turn all pixels that are less than 10% opaque fully transparent, and all other pixels completely opaque. Every other block renders textures with semi-transparency as is. All items and any blocks or entities that are semi-transparent by default support semi-transparency. Okay. Okay, and then it just provides an empty texture if none exist. Okay, so the main takeaway is it has to be square. Equal width and height, unless it's animated. Okay, so let's try and get that. Alright, so I'm just doing a bit of copy and pasting here and resizing. think we're gonna need some editing software. Pixels. Horizontal. Do not maintain 1000. No. Size pixels. Oh, I need to crop. Yes, I need to crop. This is gonna be difficult. Alright, off to Figma we go. Enhance. Enhance. So it looks like they're just two different states. Like one looks a little bit brighter than the other. Maybe it's an animated item. Or maybe it just has two different states.
Alexandrite and the raw Alexandrite, so I'm spoiling a little bit, but basically we can simply drag those into the folder, and I'm going to hold Control to copy them into there. I'm going to hit OK, and then you can see, there we go, we got both of those PNGs in here. So the Alexandrite.png is exactly what it's basically looking for. And now with this, if you can imagine, that is all of the steps to actually add the custom item. Now it might look like it is a lot, but we'll see in just a second how to add a second item, because once everything like this is set up, the second item is exponentially easier. But yes, you will basically always need to register it like this, right? So these two lines over here are registering the item, then adding it to the creative mode tab right here, adding a translation, and then the item URL JSON file, which points to your particular texture. But once all of those steps are through, what we can then do is simply over here at the top right corner, we can simply hit the run client over here, and then jump into the game and see our item the first time. All right, finds us back in Minecraft, and let's go to the ingredients tab at the very bottom, and we can see
Also, where do we register this as an ingredient?
Am I alive yet?
Creative mode tabs ingredients. Okay, I see. Here. It's under add creative, and we got this right here. And we must have made some reference to it in mod items. Item register, new item, new properties. Not really. Okay. Let's take a look. Single player. Survival, hardcore, creative. I wonder where it's picking up the raw, because the item looks different. Alright. And if we go into ingredients, functional nature, is this ingredients? Spawnings, ingredients. Go all the way at the bottom. And we have our city flag. That's pretty cool. How do I drop this? There we go. Alright, that's actually pretty legit. We've made our first item. I think it's too high def for for Minecraft, but that's pretty damn cool. Alright, sweet. Let's go to the second item.
There we freaking go. The Alexandrite gem has been added to the game. Absolutely freaking fantastic. And yeah, that is one item, but one is none. So let's take a look at adding a second item too. Right, like I said, you will be amazed at how fast the second item can be added. Now, we're going to basically go through this not too fast, but, you know, particularly, but also not particularly slow. Of course, we'll need another public static final registry object. Once again, when I have this and it's suggested, I simply hit the tab key to autocomplete this, and there you go. Then there's going to be the raw Alexandrite equal once again to items.register. And then the name here is, of course, raw_Alexandrite, and then a supplier of a new item with new item.properties, and ending it with a...
Alright, so he kind of does two of the same items. Should we do, like, country flag? Let's do a country flag. Why not? Register. Country flag. And then what do you call it? A provider? Item properties. Okay.
Semicolon, and now the thing is registered. So we can then go to the tutorial mods class over here, and once again say event.accept mod items.raw Alexandrite.
Country flag. I just got a new small keyboard. It's like a 60% width, and it's very comfortable to program on in terms of the keys, but the lack of up, down, left, right is really a thing to get used to. Okay, so what if I don't want to do it under ingredients? Is this the only place I register it? Functional blocks, maybe under functional blocks. Peaceful orgasm, cheap viewers on Ionis. Cool. Thanks. Let's do tools and utilities. Let's see if that changes anything. And I guess we're gonna need a new flag. Skip through all the scenes. Oh, it's in SVG. Just export it. Can I not mod my own chat? All right, so presumably we've registered it here, but we still have to add the JSON for it under, yep. So if we go, item, best ever, Did the translation here? No, here. And then we'll create a new model, presumably. JSON. This is gonna get so annoying to repeat. Generated, does whatever, country flag.
Now it is added to the creative mode tab in the en_us JSON file item.tutorialmod.raw_alexandrite. Exactly, and this is the raw alexandrite. Awesome. And then lastly, we simply need an item model. We already have the texture over here, and the item model, there's a really awesome trick. What you can do is, if you have a working item model JSON file, what you can do is you can drag it into the same folder while holding control, and you can see a little plus appears right here, and then it's going to duplicate that particular file. You can simply rename it to raw_alexandrite, which is of course the name of our new item, right? We hit OK over here, and then just change it to basically point to the raw alexandrite texture right here in our textures folder, and that is it. So that is the second item added, and you can see significantly easier. And I'm telling you, as you add more items and also do this on your own, you will find that it's going to get easier and easier. It is just a thing of repetition, right? If you add 100 items like this, right? By item 45, you're going to be bored out of your mind because you're like, I know what I have to do. And that is exactly the point. You have to know what you have to do in order to add those items, and then you're basically going to be good to go. So just for the sake of argument, let's jump into the game one more time to see the second item too. Alright, and in Minecraft again, and what we'll find in the ingredients tab is of course raw alexandrite as well. Absolutely freaking fantastic, and that is 2 items added to Minecraft, and like I said, it is pretty freaking crazy. Once you've done it once, basically, you're gonna be an absolute master. Freaking awesome. And that's it for this tutorial.
Cool.
In the next video here, we'll learn about custom blocks as well. Hope to see you there.
Tutorial. So let's actually get the Minecraft client running here. What's the issue? Executing run client. Okay. Forge reader was not found in your following sources. So did I adjust something here? No, I didn't adjust anything here, did I? So there seems to be some issue with my Eclipse. Last time there was this issue, we literally just restarted it and it was fine. So we may have to do that. Maybe this is the issue. Do we do all the semicolons? I think we did. Alright, let's try rebuilding. And then we're gonna try to clear the ID cache. Okay. Alright, so rebuilding the tree. That's progress. So we've replaced here. Let's toss that out. We have replaced 2 tools. Yes, nice. How do I grab all of them? Nice. Look at that. Cool. Cool. Alright, sweet. So that is the second tutorial done. Awesome. It was very nice to see the flags in there. Alright, thank you everyone for watching. I think that's going to be it for today, and I'll be back again tomorrow to look at the next video and continue learning. And thank you to Cope and Joe for these awesome tutorials. Alright guys, have a good one.